What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode of Oxygen Not Included, working towards this mega base type structure that we're working on. So straight in at the bottom here, you can see we have the reminiscence of what we was discussing, and that is the gas masks taking us into that chlorine infested environment to try and push the base downward to more buildable resources, and then more down towards the bottom, because obviously my end goal here is to get down to lava and use the heat from that to create steam for steam turbines, similar to the season I did before this one, but maybe with a few changes. Obviously I am struggling with power at the minute with this one, and our coal is not lasting as long as I wanted it to. But all in all, this is the way I do it. Obviously, as soon as we get to the actual Atmo suits, I'll switch to those, because then they won't have problems with the eyes, and also I believe it holds more oxygen. Not much, but more. There is a bathtub down there, but spoiler, I am going to likely destroy that because it's not on the right level for me, and I'm pretty sure I can build one when I like anyway, so I'll just move it or destroy it when we get there. So in this area we can see all the chlorine. Once I've got that mostly uncovered, I want to get some sort of infrastructure in there to do the gas processing. That means that I will put gas vents in and have some tanks once I've researched them. And the idea being that that will get pumped and filtered into the tank, so I'll be storing it. Now, chlorine I'll be storing to get it out of the way, but also to use it for doing any cleaning of any environments that are dangerous, i.e. slime biomes, where they're full of germs. Chuck the chlorine in there and it'll kill off all the germs and make it a lot safer and easier to process. But also you can use it for polluted water as well, or the likes, to keep that off-gassing from being toxic also. In the base, I can already see actually that there is a lot of polluted oxygen floating about, so we do need to get some the filters in there as soon as I can. But also, again, I'm saying also a lot, there is some random gases in my farms, which you can see they're flashing at the minute, because that is what I believe looks like natural gas. It's orange. So we need to get that cleared up as well. So back over to the farms that I was just talking about, and really I need to solve this. Because we need the food right. We've got 11,000, 10,000, 9,000, and it's dropping as I'm talking calories, and that is not good enough. So what I'm going to do is just put a egg vent in between these to allow the gases to move. Hopefully the natural gas should drop out or move up out of there, and at least congregate, yes, in one location. And with that being in one location, I can then use something to actually clear it up and get it out of the way. Obviously, carbon dioxide, oxygen is better in them environments. Certainly not hydrogen or natural gas or chlorine for growing any sort of relative crop from the beginning ones, and that would be the ones that we're growing at the minute, and then the bristleberries and things like that as well. Also, you can see the grub plant thing there that I'm digging up, and I will try and get some of them growing as well, because they're reasonably easy to grow. When it comes to other lilies, I think they're called, you need actual chlorine to do that, but we can set that up in specific rooms as and when we need it. So pushing forward a little bit, you can see that left-hand side, I've moved over there now to try and dig into that and around the hot tub as well. Still waiting for the farms to be finished off. We do only have 8 duplicates, and they are quite busy, is probably the one way to put it. I would like to push to 10, which shouldn't be too difficult with the structure we've got. I can easily get another bedroom, bathroom and shower in, so we can cover 10 without a problem. However, the calories are significantly worrying at this moment in time, and we need more food to obviously make that work. Not sure if I meant to do that in such a high priority. No, I did not. Also, there is a mod that allows you to move the fixed structures, and that would be the teleporters that you can see there that are just one block in the wrong place. I will be adding that at some point. Also, I desperately need to add the one where it allows you to build over things, because the reason that gap is there is because you can't build over plants. So a couple of more mods to add. I will let you know when I've actually done it, and of course in the description the mod collection will already include that. It doesn't at the minute as of this video being posted, of course, but it will do by the time I mention it, so just keep up with that one. And then we do need to look at getting the poles as well to allow them to get down quicker. The ladders we'll have to upgrade to, I think it's plastic to go faster. There is a mod for metal ones, steel I think, that are also quick, but I'm not sure which ones are the quickest out of the steel and the plastic ladders. And then jumping forward nicely here to show you that yes, the area is now cleared out on both sides. The left hand side we're ignoring, though I will be insulating that with insulation tiles and locking down any of the doors that are there and swapping them out for the airlocks. Mainly because the base is not going to be the size of the map, and I don't want the oxygen on the entire map. I only want oxygen in the base, and then when you leave the base you have a mask or a atmo suit. So the way this works, I think I do overcomplicate it. I have to do it a couple of times just because it makes my own eyes hurt. But basically I just go in for that first tank, and you can see I've got 2 different pipes because the one pipe can only hold so much, so I like to do 2 pumps, 2 lines. So you can see they'll go into there and then they'll get filtered out and go into the next one and filtered out and go into the next one. And then I'll continue to build these down into the area I'm actually clearing out as soon as it's a bit safer. I could do with making it into a vacuum, and the pumps that are there will easily make this a vacuum if given enough time. But to be honest, you don't need to make it a vacuum. Once you get down to the microgram area, letting in other gases just pushes them out of the way anyway, so it's not a problem. A vacuum is quite an excessive amount of extra time and doesn't really give you that big of a benefit. Again, as you can see, there's a lot of building jobs to be done, and the duplicates are very busy. You can say I've got a farm over there now growing of the extra crop that I mentioned. 1 seed missing, unfortunately, but it's not the end of the world. And once I've got a bit of stability, them crops will be grown with the animals to actually make the grubs. So you get the little sweedles, I think they're called, the little black bugs. They then farm these and grow into the grubs that look like giant caterpillars. They're my favourite on the game anyway. Not necessarily for a resource, just for the fact that they look cool in terms of the skin. My favourite is probably the hatchlings that you can get to crap out diamonds and coal, because who wouldn't want that? Okay, so over here at the spine, as we're calling it, this is the power spine, slowly being built in, but this is where it's going to be. And then you can see where the ladders are, or where the main wire go, and that's the one that holds 20 kilowatts or 50 kilowatts, whatever it is. And then I'm putting in at the right level for the floors these air tiles, and they'll go straight across there so there's no gases trapped, just to allow it to flow. Of course, there will be some heat coming off there. There'll be a lot of transformers in this spine, every floor level technically. So I want to make sure that it's as open as possible to allow for that to transmit. At the minute, we can only use the small... missed that one totally. We can only use the small transformers, but that's fine. They give 1,000 per line, and that's more than enough for the infrastructure we have. Obviously, we need to have enough power to run them all, and that's going to be the next step on this. But for now, I think we just need to make sure that we're not overdoing our line, and we are. You can see that by the line flashing orange and red. The power lines, that is. That means that it is... The orange means it's strained, and the red means it's over, and both of them can cause damage and break the lines. So you always want to keep it under that and keep them white. Blue means not connected, for reference. So from the spine, you can see that the main cable will go into the transformers, and then the little cables will come off there, and they're all leveled up on the relevant floors. So they will just go into their relative floors, and the idea is that as long as you don't put anything that's over 1,000 on that floor, you won't have any problems. Of course, as you go in, you'll find that some floors you'll only have 1 thing connected to it. Other floors you might be able to put 30 things to it. It just depends on what you're using it for. Lights, for example, you get a lot for 1,000 because they're only 5 each. But then the massage rooms are quite expensive in terms of electricity, so you'll probably need a couple of lines there until you can get up to the next level of power cable, which is the insulated cable using refined metals. And of course, wiring in the spine means wiring it into the infrastructure of battery and generator. Now, of course, I'm using the watt plates to take the large, thick cable through the walls. Again, keeping that sealed for the heat transfer to be reduced. We do have a mod that allows us to have insulated ones of those, but we haven't unlocked them yet. And then just going along, you can see here that's coming off one of the transformers, bridging over the cables. The small cables cannot touch your spine cable, otherwise that would just crash the whole system. And as and when you need them, you put a cable in and drag it over the floor that they're connected to. It seems to work. This is not my idea, by the way. This is an idea from other YouTubers that I've watched. But I do use it every time now because it is the easiest way to move forward, especially when you're doing these sort of structured box-built Lego-type bases. And the infrastructure just follows the base. As you move up or down, the spine moves up or down with it. Of course, you have to make relative changes around the areas if there's stuff in the way, as we are doing moving the chlorine, but it's the same principle. Putting in another power plant here, another engine, because you can see the battery's actually struggling to charge with that one running. So I'm going to put a second one in and we'll just extend that as we go. All being connected by a smart cable to the smart battery so we're not wasting coal when we don't need it. But we need a solution before we run out of coal. Otherwise I'm going to be up the creek without a paddle. Okay, so coming back over to my gas infrastructure, you can see that it's sort of working. There are some items that are being exhausted on the vents because I don't have enough of these set up yet, so we're going to look at fixing that now. This area below where I'm building is very low in the chlorine levels, but what I haven't accounted for is that I do actually need to dig up. So on the very right hand side of where the base ends, you can see that I've not actually put the wall in yet because I'm trying to make sure that crevice there is vacuumed too. But I actually need to dig all the way up there to the very top and put in an insulation tile, so that once we've got this rectangular base, down each of the walls there will be a insulated tile. Again, where I'm taking this out, there'll be an insulated tile there, but then on the opposite side as well to stop any of the heat from coming out of or into the actual power structure. So it's just to mitigate the temperatures and make it easier when I do some sort of cooling system or heating system, depending on what's needed later on. It's easier to benchmark it because you don't have the outside environment causing problems unnecessarily. And then just jumping forward a little bit more, this is one of my final OCD kind of, not OCD, but it's just what I do and I like to do it. It makes it easier on the eyes. So the wallpaper that you already know I love using, I put behind the gas tanks, as you can see on the screen. Based on the colour, I then know what is in them gas tanks. So them two on the left there with the green background, we know they are chlorine, and the ones on the right that were a different colour that I've already forgot. There we go. Orange, that is natural gas. And I'll do that behind them. So for carbon dioxide, you'll use black, for light blue for oxygen, the sort of pea green for polluted oxygen, pink for hydrogen, etc, etc, and black for carbon dioxide, if I didn't say that. And it just keeps an eye on what I'm looking at. So when I look at it and I can see the fill level on the tank, I know exactly what gas is in there without having to do any clicking, and I also know where they are at a glance. So with 9 duplicates, we need extra bedding, which you can see top left-hand corner, they're already in and being used. So they've all got beds, not a problem, but we need this bathroom sorting too. We have bathrooms for 8. This will allow us to take up to 10. We have showers for 8, so I will be extending the showers as well. At the minute above the showers, we have the crafting room, but to be honest, that can be absolutely anywhere. So I will move that to one of the central areas. As you can see, the centrals are just, I don't know. I will use them probably for art and stuff when I get it, just to make things look pretty. At some point later on, of course, when we get the plastic up and running, each duplicate will have their own bedroom, and the bedroom will be very impressive. So we will need a space for that. But in the meantime, they're going to make do. We do have double beds as well, so I can just put the double beds in and make it a lot easier on myself. But we've got the space, so I don't see why not. If we need to cramp in because we're struggling to build up or down, I will do so. Up's going to be difficult on that left-hand side because there is a geyser there of a slush geyser that's very, very cold and chucking out very, very cold liquids. I need to cap that off somehow before I push up. But at the minute, we're concentrating on moving down because, again, the infrastructure for power is down, not up. And as you see, I've just moved that over, which means I can now destroy that and move another 4 up the top. 4 showers, which means we'll have 12, and that will be future-proof, right, for the next 2 people or duplicates that we gain. Okay, so we're looking good now. The spine is almost done. You can see it's working on some of the levels. The bathroom is done. The showers are done too, and I have done the wallpapers where I can afford it. And then you can see with them tanks as well that I have color-coded them, so that one in the very bottom right is just oxygen. Now, although it seems odd to store oxygen,
It's always a good idea too for emergencies. The base as it stands, just looking there, you can see actually it's okay. I think oxygen wise we're fine, we're creating enough. So the storage is just a backup. Now we can use that for masks, for tanks, for Atmo suits, or as an emergency when we need it. But for now, we don't, so I'll leave it there. Next to it is the polluted oxygen. Of course, that just needs to be cleaned, and then it's the same thing. But we can do that. That little section underneath the 2 high blocks, I'll probably do a little gas trap there and make it so it cleans it and then vacuums it out. Above that is 2 for the carbon dioxide, because we do have a lot of carbon dioxide. We're always creating carbon dioxide, and it always falls to the bottom of the base. So I like to set up a little automation that has a sensor that when the carbon dioxide builds up too much at the bottom, we store it in a tank. You can see the spindly grub fruits there shaking away. It's ready to be harvested, and the other ones are going. We did actually get that spare seed that we needed, so that's good. Not sure if they're going to be enough food from them, to be honest, but it can't hurt to try, right? So, also, if you see in the top there, you can see 2 of the mush machines making food. I got desperate. We didn't have a choice. I wasn't getting enough food coming in for the duplicates that I had. So they're going to eat crap until the point that we can feed them nice, and there you can see it there, look. So it is going to make mush, whatever it is, out of the soil. It will obviously improve the other things as well that it can do, but for now it's a necessity that we need to continue with. So this area here, you see it at the minute, you can see there's 2 masks on the floor. I'm actually going to dig down again and do the same process again, and all the chlorine below this level that we're currently at, you'll see, yes, there. And going down to this little house that somebody's living in, Gravitas. This is new for me. I've not done this before. As far as I'm aware, though, once we get there, we need to do a little bit of knocking on the door, and we'll gain a duplicate from there. What type or what special abilities they've got, I don't know. We'll see when we get there. But it's something to look forward to, but we need to get rid of that chlorine and that bleach stone directly below us first before we get there. So that's what we're going to do. Also, I don't know if you noticed, apologies for not mentioning it, but you can see now there is the infrastructure on that right-hand side, the insulated tiles, and then the ladder, obviously, that they had to use to do it all the way up. And that should, I'm not sure if it's all the way finished, but it should be, all the way up to the very top. And then we'll have it going across the top to keep the cold out, and then I'll need to do it on the left-hand side as well, but I haven't got around to that yet. Having a look at the decor of the base now, and the base is looking very green, which is what we wanted. The dark red is outside of the base, that's in the spine. But I am going to put a bit more in, because any gaps, why not? It doesn't hurt. It's the resource. We have 250,000 of this, so it doesn't do anything. You can see I've used the top corners as well. I've put them in because I like to use that, and in the centre I use the light lined ones. I just like to make it look nice. It does increase the morale ever so slightly. I'm not convinced it does a major game-changing difference, but it's just nice to have those things, and that's what I like to do. So, and there we are destroying the hot tub, because at this point I've decided that it is not on the right level for my setup, and I am not going to have a wonky floor just for a hot tub. Infrastructure moving down. As you can see, this is what we're doing. So we have a gas set up there and a airlock to stop that from getting back into the base, and then there's a pump already pumping this chlorine out into that system that we've already set up. There is an event there, which is the massive fossil that's new to me that we need to unlock, and there is that house to the left hand side as well. But first, where it's 8, that is where the chlorine is and where all of the bleach stone is, so I need to get rid of that. Once we've got rid of that, we'll dig down left and right in them tunnels and have a look at those events. Once that's done, we'll likely continue to dig down and find, hopefully, not much further down, the temperature should dramatically increase, and we'll start getting some... Oh yeah, I missed that because they can't reach it. We'll start getting some lava, and then we can use that to create steam. We haven't, obviously we're not near the actual steam engines yet, and you need plastic for that too, but it's still part of the course, right? And then this is, of course, what I was talking about. I am going to put the insulated tile all the way up the left-hand side as well, so that the base is secure, and then knocking out those airlock doors there, and where I'm breaking them open, you can see I'm actually going to put the electric doors in, but they're also insulated airlock electric doors, so that'll be the end game, really. We don't need to do it much more than that. I may need to upgrade the... depending on how the temperatures go, I may need to use a better material for the insulated tiles, like ceramic, but we'll see. I'm back to the farm, and I now had some space to put in a couple of extra farms. This time, as you can see, there are lights, so it's going to be no surprise to anybody that this is for the bristle Plants, 2 levels of them. We'll get them coming in. All they need is light, but they do need actual hydration as well. The hydration from the farm plots that get it from the around surrounding area don't work for them. So that's why I've had to use the proper orange pots there. We'll get the blossom seed in there, and that will give us another food source to use. It's already set up on the cooker to do. So I think we should be starting to gain a much better infrastructure for food now. We can see 55,000 calories. Some of that might be the mush stuff though that's no good, but just keeping people alive. At some point I'm going to turn that off and see what we've got, and then make sure that they're only allowed to eat the decent food from there. I also need to make sure that they are not eating the raw resources and they're waiting for them to be actually cooked, because that is a morale boost as well, or a morale loss if they're eating the raw resources. But we are at time now, so that is going to be it for this episode. So thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please click like. It helps me know which games to play more of. Subscribe should you want to see any more. Again, thank you for watching. Take care. Goodbye.